Alright, draft science video, physics, annoying comments. I really hate it. Yeah, I guess I didn't see this one. What the hell is this one down here? Okay, let's see. Don't waste your own energy on them. Make a video response. Yeah, okay, we can go without that. I think of a four-dimensional vector space. Matter equals energy. Whatever. And no, force equals energy in the sense that you have to have an imbalance in the force. But whatever, asshole. Fields cause light to travel in curves. Well, you says you. I'm saying the evidence is incredibly weak that light ever is curved. So you can keep claiming it is, but I'm saying the evidence is disgustingly weak. You have lensing where it shouldn't be, and you don't have it where it should be, which is a pretty big giveaway. The components of the vector are x, y, z, and t. It is four-dimensional vectors that perplexes people not trained in linear algebra. Fuck you. Oh, God. Believe whatever you want. Time is a function, jackasses. It ain't no fucking dimension. You're never going to change it. The speed of light is a constant, and that means you can't change it. Ever. You can't go someplace where time does something different. You can only do something different. Like go to sleep. Idiots. Like freeze. No one says the sun is moving faster than the speed of light. Yeah, that's right. No one said that, asshole. No one made that accusation, jackass. I mean, you can't... Piro can never pay the fuck attention to an argument ever. Ever. I never claimed that you think the sun is moving faster than the speed of light. That's not the claim, jackass. The claim is that the bent space moves at the speed of light. And that if the sun is moving, then that means the bent space in front of it isn't escaping at the right rate. Shit for brain. It's about 1/1000th the speed of light. Exactly. 1/1000th isn't that much. I mean, it's not that much less. So it's enough to detect a difference. If there's 1/1000th steeper gravity in front of you than there is behind you, that's detectable. Shit for brain. And you can't seem to remember. No, I didn't have any problem with it, jackass. So again, you can't listen because you play all the videos at twice the speed, and you couldn't even listen when you played them at regular speed because you just don't pay any fucking attention. You're just a glib, reckless, stupid fucking troll. Because of time dilation, gravity waves are traveling away from you at the speed of light. Again, this doesn't make any sense. You don't get to decide how how something travels away from you by saying, oh, I'm just going to apply relativity rules and therefore I can run in the rain. So I could just make up a fake thing, a fake concept that says I can run in the rain and the rain doesn't hit me in the front because I'm time dilated. I mean, you're just making shit up. So, for you, and the solar system is riding through the gravity field as it is at the moment of time. Okay, whatever. Gravity waves are traveling away from you at the speed of light. For you. Whatever for you is. So the sun gets to make the rules. So the sun gets to say, I'm moving 1,000 miles an hour this way, and my gravity waves will just be the same gravity waves in front of me as behind me, even though I'm going 1,000. I'm going 1,000th of the speed of light. So the fact that I'm traveling 1,000th the speed of light, I can still do that, and the light will leave me at C. So somehow he says this is possible, that you can add 1,000th, you can do C plus 1,000th of C, and you haven't broken the constant. I think, unless you have an explanation, you have. You're running in the rain and you're pretending it's not friction because you say so. And that's all. You just say so. You don't have any evidence of so. You see, this is the whole catch. They create a God theory, you know, bent space, Huygens, Heisenberg, dark matter. They create a God, and nobody can judge their God because their God has magic powers. And no matter, you can't, and it's actually absolutely vacuous. It has to have no representation to reality. So they can just give it any attribute they want. If they need a little Huygens plus, well, then they just say Fresnel Huygens or Bigger Bagger Huygens. They just add another name on it because they just add a new attribute. Pile of shit, physics. For you, and the solar system is riding through the gravity field, and the solar system is riding through the gravity field, as it is at that moment of time. Well, I don't even give a shit about a solar system at this point. Let's just say they're all going the same 1,000th the speed of light. But the point is the gravity in front of the sun has to compress. The lines have to be narrower because the very fact that the sun, it's redshift for motherfucking sake in a sense, but it's gravity shift, and there has to be less pressure in the back. The circle has to be elongated, shortened in the front and elongated in the back, not to violate the speed of light. So just keep pretending. What gravity waves? Question mark. Yeah, well, I didn't bring up gravity waves. The one Gary is talking about. I wasn't talking about waves. I'm talking about gravity, the force. Bent space. I didn't say gravity waves. I said bent space waves. Bent space perturbation. Alright, anyway. The explanation about how light always goes c relative to u is known as general relativity. You say it doesn't exist. I say the evidence is absent entirely. You haven't done any speed of light experiments near the speed of light. And I say it's preposterous on its face. Photons can't carry momentum in two directions. They're one-dimensional objects, and you people are all silly, stupid fucktards to think otherwise. You disagree with it, but it exists. So you say, but you don't prove, and you don't rationally deal with the paradoxes it creates. So you dismiss particle gravity because Feynman talks about raindrops, and yet you're such fucking hypocrites that you won't even recognize that your own theory has substantial problems, and you don't give a shit about fixing them. You just say, fuck you, we believe it. And it's just so obnoxious. How do you know that? How do I know the theory of general relativity exists? Yeah, that's what he asked you, idiot. No answer. Yeah, so he knows it because he feels it in his heart. Fucking, this is such bullshit. I'll leave his comments just to embarrass him in the future. LOL, can you speak ancient Greek almost fluently? No, can you, douchebag? I mean, what, that demonstrates that somebody knows what magnetism is? Because they can speak ancient Greece? And how would anybody even judge, right? I mean, he claims he's brilliant at it, but how would you know? You can be intelligent and have not one drop of intelligence. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, well, fuck you, okay? Just fuck you, retard. You're not making an argument in defense of you. Oh, you want to rub his big chubby ass? Yeah, Gary Tucker. 2 sets of panels magnetic. Fuck. One on top and one below. Passive magnet above, reverse polarity below. The magnetic paths go opposite ways, would magnetically attract the particles and force them around, and could be channeled into 2 magnetic cones. Whatever these, what particles are you talking about? Light is not bent by magnets, retard. Fuck you. Oh, don't take offense. Fuck you. Why waste my fucking time? Why do I have to read this tripe? Einstein theory altered the definition of gravity itself, a force to be warped of space. What? Einstein's theory altered the definition of gravity itself from a force to a warp A warping of space-time. Yes. Oh dear, another camera failure. Alright, well, I'll have to do this in 2 parts probably. Stitch these things together or something. Fuck. Anyway. Einstein's theory altered the definition of gravity itself from a force to a warping of space-time. Well, exactly, and that's just stupid. It's a force. It moves the speed of light. Speed of force. Scientists observed gravitational warping of both time and space to back this definition up. Says you. Okay? There's no magical definition of this thing. The fact that time dilation can be explained as a material function, you don't need to break time. You break matter. You break clocks. Clocks work differently when you give them momentum. That doesn't mean there's any dimension of time, idiot. And as for bending light, the evidence is weak. Here's how. We know that time passes faster in orbit. Again, you just blew it. Okay? You see, you're so fucking ignorant, you dumbass. It actually goes slower, stupid fuck. We're the ones with the clocks running too slow. Time passes faster in orbit. Right, okay, so you're right, sorry. Alright. Time passes faster in orbit. Yes, the clocks in orbit have to be slowed down. Where people would think time dilation means they should be going slower. So anyway, but true. We're the ones going faster. That's the irony. Alright. Time passes faster. Time passes faster. See, that's tricky because now you're saying it's going slower. Well, anyway, I'll read the rest and see if he gets it right. Than it does on Earth because we've compared clocks on Earth to those in orbit. Satellites farther from the planet's mass. Well, you can say it's because it's farther from the planet's mass, or you can get realistic and say it's because we're in the heavier gravity. We're being accelerated a lot fucking more. Duh. We're moving faster. Up and down. Retard. Scientists call this phenomenon gravitational time dilation. Well, I don't care what they call it. The point is it's the matter that's changing, because you change matter when you impose force on it. When you inject force into matter, it changes the matter. Likewise, scientists have observed straight beams of light curving around massive stars, says you. Okay, so I'm saying that's a fucking lie. They haven't. They've observed blotches. But that's what they've observed. And they're in the wrong places. And then the gravitational lensing around the sun is an experiment they haven't duplicated. Isn't that one of the rules of good science? Is you do an experiment that can actually be redone correctly and accurately and successfully. And so, and again, we have a Hubble telescope that every day could just look at the sun right next to it every fucking day and see stars in the wrong location. Where are those photographs? What is Relativity by Robert Lamb, Science Everyday Myths. Oh, it's so impressive. Fuck you. Alright. How do they know it's not another unknown effect produced via speed the satellites is moving in the linear difference on the timing mechanism and therefore accuracy? It's just velocity, for fuck's sake. After all, the clock is made to be accurate here on terra firma, not hurting around the Earth. I've already been over this stuff. I mean, I hate people being just plain fucking stupid. You know, but the simple explanation is the more velocity, it changes the function of matter. But you're not going to find any consistent change. Some things will work better, some things will work less well. It depends on what you're using as your standard. Now, if you're using some kind of chemical function or atomic decay, then it seems rational that that would probably have some sort of proportional decay rate. It would change it in some sort of proportional way. But other things won't be changed proportionally. Like human function, for example. So I can't wait for the day when they try to accelerate humans to very high speeds and it don't work out so fucking well. Fuck you. Fucking hell, even I realize that we look at the night sky, it is the past, lol. Well, the point is, it's not only just the past, it's the past locations. We see the shit where it used to be. We don't see it where it is now. The light does not move with it. Prove it, he says. Go ask NASA, okay? I'm sure NASA knows that when it sees Saturn in a position in its telescope, it knows, well, I gotta add, 10 arcs of blah, 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 and, I gotta account for the fact that I'm looking at it when it's 10 minutes old. Dumbasses. Ken talks crazy, and you look crazy for some reason. Well, who cares? You both would be less crazy if you actually tried to appear less crazy. Who the fuck cares again? Ken's a ballless, weak pussy, okay? I've offered an open debate, a live debate where anybody can see who's being a cheater and who's being a fucktard. And if he wants to prove who's fucking smart, then what's he running away for? Why is he a fucking chicken? Go ask him that question. Don't type this tripe on my videos, fuckhead. Go harass him with your stupid bullshit. Wheeler's a middle-class scribe, not real scientist like Tesla or Plotinus. Tesla wasn't a real scientist. Tesla, look, he came up with one good innovation, okay, in terms of understanding phased electricity and the idea of turning a motor using it, and the rest of his career was a waste of time. I mean, he's paid millions of dollars to do simple things, and all he wanted to do was create a big, giant lightning gun. He was a fucking lunatic, you idiot. He's a good guy, though, and admires true scientists. Says you. Like who? Dullard? Fucking dimwit? But if you are a true scientist and you call him on his errors, he ignores you. Whatever. He's an asshole, period. Fuck you. You don't get it. He's a coward and an asshole. He's an arrogant coward. Alright, now 4 million long. Look at all this crap. I hate this guy. Alright, so he posts a link to just another fake video. Well, let me do these assholes first just to clean this up. MTF, Great Tex is such a cuck and such. Irrelevant. Fuck off. You are saying there's something that can convey energy that's smaller than a photon. Go ahead and give us an example of a wave perturbation that is smaller than a photon. This is professional wrestling. You got... Just fuck off. Wow, I just looked it up and it's a real... Well, go fuck yourself. I mean, these people can't make an argument. If you can't make an argument, don't post in my videos. I'm really just not fucking interested in anything less than a fucking rational argument. And not your motherfucking cunt propaganda. It seems all that you assholes can produce. So let's watch this piece of propaganda from this asshole. So this link here was, it's an interesting video. It's just very old, but it's interesting. So it's a ripple tank. And it's the same bullshit as Piro's motherfucking rip-off video. Alright, so you can see the waves aren't perfect in the first place going in, but they're slow waves to start. And you can see it's a nice, even pattern. No problem, no diffraction. Now these idiots have this argument that a single photon, and that's what we're talking about always here, is a single photon. So a single photon goes up to the slit, and what they think happens is it goes all wacky here, and everything breaks and it starts making a whole bunch of new waves, and all those new waves go in all different directions to create the single slit pattern. They think that happens with light. It doesn't even happen with a fucking water wave, and yet they think it happens with light. I mean, that light has a problem going through a slit, that it somehow breaks into pieces. I mean, it's just fucktarded. Alright, so here they have a nice, even little blah, blah, blah. You can see the pattern's fairly consistent. No real problems, no diffraction, nice round waves. So this is how they do the experiment. See, now it started speeding up before I clicked. What the hell happened here? It's changing the width. I don't know, Gary. It's always something. 1958. It's kind of funny. We gotta watch 1958 videos. But it's fake. It's just bullshit. Alright, so they're saying constant wavelength changing the frequency of the source. So first they're going to change the frequency of the waves they're pushing through the slit. So you can see it's a nice even wave. Alright. Now, I mean, the fact that these people don't understand anything about, you know, they're sitting here saying, look, I'm going to preach to you on the subject of water waves, and they don't understand how critically important it is, okay, to avoid harmonic problems, you know, echoes in your source. And the faster you make the wave, the more echoes you get in it. And they're not going to be the harmonics, right? So if you're on the, you know, if you know what a harmonic is, it means that the wavelength is the same, even though it's doubled. And you know, the doubling is completely double. It's exactly 1/2 or 2 times the wavelength. And so that's okay. That doesn't create noise. But if you're off phase, you know, not a harmonic, then it's going to be instant diffraction. And they're too stupid? I have to explain this shit to you assholes? Alright, so they're already speeding it up. They're saying wavelength decreased, but this is where they start to increase, and you can see it already. You can already see the waves are no longer straight waves, are they? So they think a single photon is all fucked up before it even gets to the slits. And it just gets noisier and noisier. So they still, even with a fairly noisy wave, they're still got a pretty even pattern. So they just keep increasing the frequency. So now it's really, they're vibrating it really hard, which means they're basically pushing water on top of the waves. So it's just, they end up with waves on top of waves on top of waves. And you can see it here, that it's already breaking before it even gets through this slit. There's already 2 waves being formed because it's already a diffracted wave before it gets to the slit. So yes, there you start to get a couple of these interference lines. They're not very, you know, there's the phase difference over here is a little bit more. You can see it over here. At least there's a better phase difference. You can see where the phase is way off over here. The phase is still pretty consistent over here. So the interference hasn't really done its job yet of creating the out of phase wave. But I mean, they're shoving hard noise in here now. Now nobody does this double slit experiment at this wavelength of water. So anytime you see the water tank doing this double slit, they don't shove noisy waves into the 2 slits because they know that's going to make a mess. So this is just so dishonest. I mean, you know, it's so dishonest in the sense of it's like doing any kind of real experiment. You have a control. And the control is you set the experiment up. If you're going to test for a condition, you make sure all the other conditions are the same. You don't change the conditions. That's not a fair comparison. So this is obviously just perversion for the sake of propaganda. And they're proud to do it. They're proud to lie for their religion. And that's all this is. This is a lie. This doesn't have anything to do with reality. They got it going so fast you can barely even see anything moving. It's going faster than the frame rate of the camera. So now you're getting a little more. There's still not very good interference in the sense, well, this one, this side it is, and this side is still a pretty round wave. So the interference is weak at best. Hardly a on-off. Hardly a hard on and a hard off, which is the real pattern seen in light. The destructive interference is far from complete. So they're really cramming them in there, really hard. Look at it. Look at. You know, they're just. You can just see it coming out of the thing. You know. And so now they go to a much higher frequency, but now they've hit the harmonic. So once they hit the harmonic, then the whole thing kind of changes. You got no interference at all, none. And now you get a little bit more because you're off harmonic again. See how it's getting harder? You're getting a little more lines because the harmonics are changing. So this illustrates what? It just illustrates that propagandists will be propagandists. That's it. You know, cheaters will be cheaters. Let's cheat the experiment. Let's force an outcome that's consistent with the lie we want to preach. That's all this is. Cheat the truth. I mean, it's you know, it's like the little tube thing again. I can't find it again. Where are you? Little aluminum tube. Ah, here you are, right in front of me. I mean, you know, I could lie and say that's Newton's rings. Look at that. It's Newton's rings. Yeah, it's an interference pattern. Blah blah blah. Look at that. No doubt about it. Look at it. It's just so obviously an interference pattern. Look, it's obvious. Anybody can see it's the truth. It's obvious. It's not. There's threads on the tip. Inside the little hole here, there's little threads. Right on this little metal piece. Little threads are in here. And they're doing it. They're creating two reflections. I mean, one going to your eye and one going to the other thread. The next thread in line. That's creating the two images. The broken images. Alright, so now they're going to widen the slit. So now they're baked back to normal waves. And now they'll increase the width of the slit as they hyper agitate. So look, we're starting with very agitated water, and you can see it this time because you can see all the interference over here. So this image, you can see how much this water is highly agitated. Lots of turbulence, lots of frequencies going through the slits. This isn't one frequency of light. This isn't monochromatic waves. So they're just shoving it in there as hard as they can. Like I said, you can see lots of diffraction on the sides. So now they're widening this slit as they have a little more noise in the waves. And then, oh, it's a big surprise that you're going to get these diffraction patterns. And they're not really diffractions. They're just grotesque multiple frequencies. They're essentially, if this was white light, this is essentially comparable to shoving white light through the slits and then being surprised that the red goes here and the blue goes here and the orange goes there and that the frequencies separate. That's all this comes down to. I mean, it's just such a bogus pile of shit. Anyway, okay, so that's the propaganda you get from these assholes. Let's see, how far am I into this video? 17 minutes, plus another 10. I can probably stitch these two together, hopefully. Yeah, I'll see how big they are, and if they're too big, then I'll do with the rest of his comments in another video, or I'll continue this one. I'll see.